Getting all around my room, my world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on the What a Juice channel, and welcome back to episode number 2, year number 2 of the New England Patriots 10-year dynasty. In the first episode, obviously it was year number 1, so we were just getting started. We were just starting to build the foundation of what will hopefully become a third Patriot dynasty. I think we've got some of those good pieces already here. Obviously, we have our starting quarterback, Drake May. We have a really young and really interesting wide receiver core with the addition of Keon Coleman that we brought in last episode from Buffalo. So he is paired alongside our other receivers that we have in Pop Douglas, Javon Baker, and the third guy, Jalen Polk. I forgot his name. Jalen Polk. So we have 4 really interesting wide receivers that are all fairly young. So I like the way our wide receiver room looks. The offense line is looking pretty good. Slightly old on the offense line in certain positions, but that shouldn't really be too much of a problem. Usually we can find some good offense linemen in the drafts. And the defense as a whole, I feel like, needs the most work, but it's still in a decent to good spot. So I really like the way that we are looking as far as a team here in after one season. So hopefully this is another step in the right direction here in year number 2, but we will find out. If you're going to enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club, and let's go see how good season 2 goes for the Patriots. And this is what we are working with for our second season. We've brought in some decent players in last episode, and the old people that I was talking about on the offensive line really was just about David Andrews, because we need to have a backup plan for him. We did draft Sheldon, but he just doesn't have a development trait, so maybe if he wins offensive lineman of the year, he can go up, but I don't know. I feel like we just need to start off better, so who knows. He's the same overall as David Andrews right now at center, which means we could just start him right away and maybe get his progression kick-started early. I don't know. I don't really know what I want to do. But we do have a very good offensive line. We have Zion Johnson, who I think we got in free agency last year, and then, or maybe we traded, I don't remember. I know we traded for Ike Ekwonu. And then we have Cole Strange and Michael Wenyu. I like Michael Wenyu. He's probably the most safe player on this offensive line. Zion Johnson and Ekwonu are probably also pretty much safe, but you never know. You never know. We do have to figure out tight end, because Hunter Henry's not going to get the job done. Now, Jaheim Bell would develop if we were to switch to Kansas City's playbook, but obviously we're still in New England right now. And as I mentioned, we still have a very, very interesting wide receiver core with Douglas, Polk, Coleman, and Baker. Ramondre Stevenson still our running back, and obviously the main foundational piece, the franchise quarterback, Drake May. And I mentioned in the intro, the defense is the portion of the team that needs probably the most work. And that's mainly because we have a little bit of a logjam of low overalls. We have Judon, who we moved down to the defensive line because this series started before Judon got traded to the Falcons. So that's why he's still on the team, if you're curious. But Judon's going to severely regress, and he's going to keep getting older and worse. So we do need to figure out a backup plan for that. We do have Keon White still, so that could be our backup plan if we wanted it to be. But I've had history with Keon White in Madden, and he just doesn't ever develop. Even when you focus the team around him, or not the team, but you focus like a defensive game plan around him, he never really develops. For some reason, I don't know what it is, but he always stays around like a 75, 76, 77. I've never seen him in the 90s in any video I've ever seen, including my own. So Keon White just never really turns into anything. At least that was last year. Who knows what happens this year? I'm assuming more of the same, but I don't know. We did draft some pretty good pieces to add to the team in Biddle and Bennett. And I think Bennett was like the best player in the draft or something, or second best player in the draft, something like that. He was very, very talented and very, very good. So we're already off to a good start in drafting. But I like this team. And like I said, we are still running Patriot playbooks. I need to make sure the schemes are all where they need to be. So we'll make sure that everything's the highest percentage. 90% on the 3-4 under. and that looks like it's probably going to be our best bet. So we'll run the 3-4 under again, and we start running Gerard Mayo's offense and defense. I like the team. I think this year we're going to take a next step. I really do. I think we will take that next step and develop into a very good team. It shouldn't be too much longer before we are a playoff team, as long as everything goes our way, which it is Madden at the end of the day, so that's never guaranteed. You'd probably have better luck betting your entire life savings on something at the casino and it going through than trusting the Madden simulation. That's true facts right there. So we've got our draft class in there now. It's just an auto-generated draft class like it always is. I like the team. I really, really do. I think we can do some good things. So we are going to simulate season number 2 and find out just how good. You know what? I probably will drop it at the mid-season mark so we can pick up halfway through, see how the team is doing. But I really do believe in this team. The only thing that's going to hold us back is these playbooks. Will the playbooks give us the benefit of the doubt and have our talented players actually be talented? I don't know. We're going to find out. But let's simulate to the halfway point of season number 2 and see where we are and then kind of go from there. Okay, so an interesting start here halfway through the season. We're 3-3, which is not honestly that surprising, but I just wish that we were simulating a little bit better. We are getting some decent wins. I mean, 3 wins throughout the halfway point of the year is not horrible. I wish it was 4. I wish it was 5. I wish we were undefeated, but we're not. As long as our main guys are playing well and are developing, that's really the only thing that matters. Oh my God, I did it again. I did it again. The drafting god returns. 2 first-round picks last year, and both of them are X Factors. Kareem Biddle, 83 overall, superstar X Factor, and he's got the cowboy collar. You know he means business. He can't rush the passer. His block shedding is garbage, but he is a tremendous linebacker. Oh, I'm so talented. I am such a good drafter. It's just the way that it is. And then, to top it all off, Carl Bennett, who does not look very big at all. He's 6'5", 292, playing D-tackle in the NFL. I mean, I know that the NFL is leaning more towards speed at every single position, but 292 at D-tackle is a little thin. You're getting into Aaron Donald territory. 87 strength, 78 block shed. I mean, this dude's going to be a freak. Both of these players will be in the 99 club very soon. Very, very soon. It probably won't be 2-3 more episodes before they are up in the 90s. So, unbelievable work for me. Pat myself on the back for that one. W's in chat. The rest of the team is looking pretty good. We're seeing some good development from Gonzo. Bolton is an 87, but we are having some bad morale, so that's holding some of us back. But Judon, like I said, man, we got to find a backup plan. Whether it is Keon White or somebody in the draft or free agency, whatever it is, we got to find a backup plan for him. And I do really want to know what my draft pick capital is, because I have no idea. It's been a while since that first video. I have no idea what the draft capital looks like. We have no first-round pick this year. I must have traded that to get back into the first round to get one of the 2 picks. I think it was Biddle that we traded back up for. And I traded all of my 2027 picks. That must have also been in that trade. So I have not a lot of capital for the next 2 years. Luckily, I was able to keep my 2027 first-round pick. Okay, so no first-round pick this year. I really hope there's not a good player in this draft in the first round, because that's going to make me upset that I won't be able to draft them. Or I guess I could trade into the first round again. People that need new contracts. Marcus Jones, Jawan Bentley, Zappy, Michael Walker. Okay, so these 2 guys don't matter at all. In fact, we would be wasting almost $8 million if we re-signed Michael Walker. So that's a waste. Gonzo, we will accept his 5th-year option. That's pretty obvious. Jawan Bentley is interesting. $25 million is the base, like the lowest we could go. He wants to be back, which is in our favor. That's good. That probably means we wouldn't have to spend as much money. I feel like out of the 2, I'm more willing to re-sign Marcus Jones because, one, he's younger, he's cheaper, and I feel like we could find a trade partner for Juwan Bentley because he's got a slightly tradable contract, especially being on the last year of his deal. So I think I'm going to offer Marcus Jones a new contract. We're going to give him a 4-year deal. We're going to pay him 3.5 and then 2.5, and he's going to say yes to this. He is. Perfect. So Marcus Jones is back on a 4-year extension. We will accept the 5th-year player option for Christian Gonzalez at the end of the year. I don't think I want to trade Juwan Bentley right now. I probably want to trade him in the offseason. But let's just kind of throw some feelers out there. What's the value for Juwan Bentley if I were to do it right now? Jedrick Wills, but he always ends up in free agency. So if we actually wanted him, we could probably just get him in free agency. Although, no, he was already in free agency because he's on the... I didn't even realize he was on the Broncos. Now he's on the Browns in real life. So he already did sign with the Broncos, but they're willing to get rid of him right away. Bryce Hall, Michael Thomas is older. Jaden Hicks is interesting. I didn't expect that to be a trade piece. Alec Pierce, St. Juste, Adigizua, Gonclaves, Mahogany. I don't want a freaking tree. Keaton Mitchell, Boyamafe. I mean, the trade pieces are not really there. There's a couple intriguing ones, like obviously this Jaden Hicks trade offer is interesting. We'll see what happens when we get towards the end of the season when we're actually probably going to trade him. So let's keep simulating until we get to week 13 when we can do our national focus or our private workouts, not our national focus. I probably should have done the national focus there. I wasn't even thinking about it. Let's get some more wins, though. I'd really love a few more wins. We are 4-4 on the season. I thought that maybe this team could be a playoff team. It's still possible. We still got a lot of football to be played. I just don't know if we're ever going to get where we need to go with these Patriot playbooks. There's only ever a few playbooks that work to get you where you need to go consistently, and it looks like we're just not there just yet. 4-6. It seems like we're just not where we need to be. But did you see that 3 upgrade points for the D tackle Carl? Unbelievable. What a stud. What a freaking stud he is. So we're week number 12. We got to get to week 13 for the private workouts, and we lost again. Yeah, this season we might have to chalk up to just a wash of a year, miss the playoffs. Unfortunately, we don't have our first-round pick, which would be very helpful since this is kind of a waste of a season in a sense, but maybe I can trade back in for it. I don't know. Maybe I can use Juwan Bentley to get my first-round pick back. That might be a smart idea. Is there anybody worth going after? So it looks like they did, in fact, just auto National Scout defensive ends, which is not that bad. We could always use defensive ends since I've been saying the whole video we need to find a replacement for Judon, so it probably does end up working out. Anthony Bryan. I don't know why I keep wanting to say Byron. Anthony Bryan. I don't want to draft this dude just because I can't pronounce his name for some reason. He doesn't look amazing physically, but he does look fairly good skill-wise. I think they did nerf the physicals on auto-generate draft picks because if this was last year, Anthony Bryan would be elite speed, elite acceleration. I mean, he'd be unbelievable. He'd be an unbelievable freak. We don't know anything about this linebacker, Deontay Marion. 6'3". I mean, we don't have anything on him. I might need to use it on him just to find out a little bit more. I'm very curious. We know 80% on Nolan Bass. He's 6'5". Now, that number 1 guy, he looks significantly better. Significantly better. Why do we know? So 45% we know at least some sort of range on this guy, on this linebacker, but this other linebacker we know nothing on at 40%? That feels a little weird. There's a quarterback here that has the potential to be pretty good. We're not in the market for a quarterback. Denario Stevens, 6'6", power rushing outside linebacker. Very curious. Could be good. Denzel Clark, we don't know enough about. We don't know a lot about a lot of these guys, actually. This is going to be a tough decision to put some... Who do we want to use our private workouts on? Because nobody seems to be like a freak athlete. Everybody just seems to be solid to good. Oh, maybe I spoke too soon, though. You got Devon Franklin, or Devon Franklin. Okay, we already drafted a D-tackle last year with Carl, but Franklin, I mean, I love a good two-man D-tackle defensive line. That's always a benefit of mine. I like that. We got 80% on John Middlebrooks. I don't really want to use any private workouts on defensive ends because we're going to get all we need to know about them just through simming because that's our national focus. So that means that Anthony Bryan we're going to figure out all about. So I want to put it on this Deontay Marion guy just because I want to know about him. I'm very curious why we don't know anything about him. And then the only other guy that I'd be curious with, we probably need to go offensive line now that I think about it. And it looks like the center class is weak. Did they finally fix the overpowered center class? Because you could have like 10, you could take a sample of 10 auto-generated draft classes, and I would say probably 8 of them would be filled with amazing centers. But I think they might have changed that. Because we've only got one that is only a round 2 to 3. That's kind of wild. We might need to take another guard and just turn them into a center. Maybe that's the way that we do it this year. I'm going to use it on this Dexter Woodward guy because he's from Ohio State. That helps him out. All right, so we'll use our private workouts on those 3 guys. And now I will simulate to the end of the season. Although, no, should we just give up on Juwan Bentley now and try to get my draft pick? Because it probably, honestly, would be easier to trade for it now before we find out how bad we're actually going to be. So maybe we should give up on it. But do I have depth at the position? We have Mykal Walker. We have Biddle. We have Nick Bolton. And we have Uche. So Bentley's not even playing because Bolton and Biddle are playing. Oh, no, Bentley is playing. Bentley's playing because Biddle's playing out on the outside with the Uche because Mykal Walker sucks. So Bentley is playing. So that's kind of annoying. If we were to give up on him, then Mykal Walker would probably have to play. But if we're being bad, it's probably not the worst idea to have Mykal Walker play. If we're being honest. So has his value gone up a little bit? It looks like there's some new pieces in here, but the draft pick capital is not great, which kind of worries me for trying to get our first round pick back. Who even has it? Who did I trade that pick for? The Broncos have 2 first round picks. One of those, I got to do this from the NFL roster screen. That'll tell me what team's picks are whose. So let's go from the roster screen. We'll go to draft picks. All right, so this will tell me where's my pick at? Who's got it? I'm assuming it's the Broncos because they have 2 first round picks. PX? Yes, okay, so number 10. Denver has number 10 overall, which is currently our pick. And it could go even higher if we continue to lose. So we need to figure out a way to get that pick back. Is it going to be possible? It's doubtful. It certainly is doubtful. Number 10. What do they want for it? They want Nick Bolton and a bunch of picks, or 2 first-round picks, or Bolton and Peppers, or Christian Gonzalez and Keon Coleman. They are out of their ever-loving freaking mind if they're going to get that stuff for it. I'm trying to undersell you. So straight up, Bentley for the pick is not honestly as declined as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like a little bit of a smidge of red was going to be in that bar. But that's actually pretty decent for just a straight up Juwan Bentley. They also need a quarterback. Well, I have Bailey Zappi, who I'm probably not going to re-sign. So you can have him too, Broncos. What happened to Bo Nix? Is he not developing for you? He's an 80 overall superstar development. Quit your complaining about needing a quarterback. You've got a 25-year-old on a rookie deal, superstar development. You're going to be fine. Stop your complaining, Denver. You don't need a quarterback as your number 1, maybe in your top 5, maybe, but your number 1 position of need. Get that out of here. Who do you think you are? They need a corner. Do I have any corners I'd be willing to give up? Not Gonzo. We just re-signed Marcus Jones. Caleb Farley I like. We are paying him a little bit too much probably. Sean Wade they're probably not going to want. He is a little bit expensive though. Do they want Sean Wade? That would help me out a lot. It's still not even out of the red. It might have to be draft picks, and I don't really want to give up draft picks, but I might have to. Second round pick next year, or 2028 second rounder. What about if I toss in Sean Wade now? Because it moved it significantly closer out of the red with Sean Wade in there. So now if you add in the second round pick as well, we get into the kind of like lime green area. Okay. So what about if I toss in another draft pick? How about like a third round pick? I don't want to give up another first. I feel like but this pick could be good. What if I get this pick back and then we win more games and it goes like there's the other thing. Maybe I should just trade Bentley for something else and just give up on this first round of this draft. You know what? I think I'm going to do that. We're just going to trade Bentley for something else. What else can I get? I need another linebacker. I know there probably is going to be decent linebackers in the draft, or not in the draft, in the free agency. But if we could just swap linebacker for linebacker, or maybe even a defensive lineman, since I keep talking about how I need to replace Judon. Pete Werner. I wish he had star development. He probably should. Devin White. Man, how the mighty have fallen. Braylon Trice. Greenlaw. What's a viable trade piece here that I wouldn't have to give up that much for? Tommy Eichenberg is really interesting. We could move Tommy inside and have him play middle linebacker. That's probably more suited to his play style anyway. I might try to get Tommy Eichenberg. Not just because he's a Buckeye, but because I think he could fit well on this team. He feels like a Patriot. Oh, we could bring Jack Jones back. Oh, that's something. I certainly would love to do that. Let's see. What else could I get? Because I feel like if I just ask for Tommy Eichenberg, it's going to go through straight up. So at least I got to try to get something else. They've also got Jacoby Myers, former Patriot. Sheldon Henderson. He's buried on your depth chart. Maybe we go for another receiver. Or I ask them for Jackson Power Johnson, and we move him to center. And then that's our center problem figured out. What about if they just do this? Eichenberg and Jackson Powers Johnson for Juwan Bentley? Okay, I think it's the Jackson Powers Johnson part of the deal that makes this in the red. I wonder if... I mean, I'd love to get Max Crosby. Is that even feasible? Probably not. I'd probably have to give up like 3 first-round picks plus a couple of actual real good players to get Max Crosby. We'll just wait and see if he gets into free agency. What about a second-round pick next year? Bentley and a second-round pick, or Bentley for a second-round pick, and Tommy Eichenberg doesn't go through. I don't. Maybe that's making me think that this isn't going to go through straight up. Is that all I can get for Juwan Bentley? Is just Tommy Eichenberg? Is that all I can get? I feel like I can get something else for him. I feel it in my plums, my loins. I feel like I can get more for him, but then I feel like I have to give up more. Now I'm rethinking about the first-round pick. Do I give up on the first-round pick? Because Bentley's going to be a real crucial piece of the trade if we do end up having to get a first-round pick this year. I'm going to hold off. Not doing any trade just yet. I keep rethinking my decisions. I'm going to go through the entire rest of the year. I'm going to simulate it. We're going to figure out exactly where we stand in the draft, and then we'll make our decision. We finished the year number 2, 8-9. So it is a good thing that I didn't trade back for our first round pick, because that pick was at number 10, but now it's probably going to be late teens, maybe even early 20, because we just missed out on the playoffs. So that's going to be actually a smart decision to not trade back for our pick. I wonder if we still could have gotten Tommy Eichenberg. We probably still can get Tommy Eichenberg, but as you can see, we missed out on the playoffs. Only the Jets made the playoffs in our division. The real question is, how did the young guys do? Drake May, 3,400 yards, 22 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. That's still not great from Drake May. I'm very much considering swapping playbooks. I don't know what playbook we would go to, but I am considering swapping playbooks. We need to see some big-time progression from Drake May. Ramondre almost had 1,000 yards, very close. 12 touchdowns as well. Good season from him. Receiving, no 1,000-yard receiver, but Demario Douglas gets close. 921 and 7. Coleman had 883 and 5. But Javon Baker's just not getting the usage I need him to get. Defensively, 120 tackles from Kareem Biddle, man. He is so good. Bolton had 98. Duggar had 81. Jones had 77. Tackle velocity was Carl Bennett, 22. As I expect, he's a stud. 77 for Barmore, 16 for Judon. Sack leader was Bennett with 12. 9 for Judon, 5.5 for Keon White. Ooh, okay. Keon White getting some playtime as like the third string defensive end. I like it. Because that maybe boosts his overall. I have no idea. Hopefully. And Biddle had, that's defensive rookie of the year. It's got to be defensive rookie of the year. 120 tackles, 3.5 sacks, and 5 picks. That's got to be defensive rookie of the year. Please tell me it is. Or maybe it's going to be Carl Bennett. At least give it to one of my guys. We had a guy that had 12 sacks, and we had a guy that had 5 picks and over 120 tackles. So one of those two deserves to have defensive rookie of the year. So I hope it's one. I mean, not even for the development trade upgrade because they're already the highest they can go, but just the status of having a guy win a rookie of the year, knowing you drafted a rookie of the year, that helps. Biddle gets an upgrade point. That's a good sign. It's not like 2 or anything, but that is a good sign that he gets an upgrade point. He might have done it. It's the Chiefs and the Cowboys, shocker, in the Super Bowl. Show me a rookie of the year defensively, because we didn't have any rookies on the offense. So show me defensive rookie of the year. We'll upgrade all of the practice squad guys. Season recap. Give me that rookie of the year. Kareem Biddle, defensive rookie of the year. Let's go. Mahomes wins offensive player of the year and MVP. Myles Garrett is regular defensive player of the year. And Courtney Holiday, rookie of the year offensively for the Cowboys, wide receiver, who went in the Super Bowl and won it. Good for Dallas. Whatever. Okay, so here we are. It is season 2 off season. We went 8-9 this year. We need to make some big time changes to our playbooks probably. We have $66 million in cap space, and the only thing we need to do right here is to re-sign Gonzo on his 5th-year option. So, boom. But maybe the more important thing is to move on from Juwan Bentley. Now, he's gone up in interest, and he's gone down in price. He was at $25 million halfway through the year. Now he's only at $16. And oh my God. Chris Olave says he's announced he'll become a free agent when his contract ends. I don't know when his contract is up because he's probably still on his rookie deal, so maybe we have to wait a couple more years. But Chris Olave will be a free agent. He has said he's not coming back. Oh, man. That could change some things in free agency. I don't think it's going to be this year. I don't think it's going to be this free agency that's coming up in a few minutes, but that's going to change some things in free agency. If we could bring him to the team, and Kareem Biddle's now our highest overall. They're both our highest overall player. Oh, my God. I'm such a freaking good drafter, man. I'm a drafting god. I'm so talented. But we do need to make the move to probably trade Juwan Bentley. He's a 79 now, so he's not going to have as good a value. Will Shipley. They're willing to give me a star 24-year-old, 78 overall running back. Ooh, a left guard. He is 71, but he's got superstar development. I don't think I can pass that up. I know he's only a 71, but superstar development on offensive lineman is rare. I got to do that. I got to do that. I can't pass up. I know he's only 71. I know. And he's going to take a while to develop. But a 71 for a 79 overall old linebacker that I wasn't going to re-sign, I feel like I could not pass that up. And now we add him to the team. And he could honestly be our center if he grows. So that's huge. We'll just stash him away. We'll see how he develops. So the wide receivers are still looking good. Now Keon Coleman's jumped to number 1. Drake May, no offensive line or no offensive development trade upgrades for this year. And now we have no defensive ones either. Biddle moves inside with Nick Bolton. Uche moves. Okay, so we need to work on linebacker. Not only depth, but also starting right outside linebacker now that Bentley's gone. Keon White moves up to, he's still 74. I mean, Keon, you just don't grow, man. I don't know what to tell you. You just don't ever develop. It's kind of annoying. Let's get to free agency. We've got a decent chunk of change to work with here. Hopefully there's somebody that we can spend it on, specifically on the defense. Chris Olave is here. Okay. Interesting. Let's take a look at the linebackers first before I go gung-ho on signing Chris Olave. So Pete Warner is here. Quay Walker is also here. Middle linebacker, nobody that really does anything for me. Kobe Dean's cool, but I don't think I really want him. And then you've got Nick Bonito, who's only 26, and he kind of wants to be here. That might be a nice little backup option, maybe. Okay, I'm feeling it now, Mr. Krabs. Nolan Smith is available. D-tackle doesn't really have anybody that I want. Draymond Jones. Okay, Drake Jackson. Okay, so the defensive free agent class is not horrible. There's some guys in here. There's some dudes. And I like dudes. So I think we can make... Ooh. I think we can make some magic happen here with $67 million. Unless I just spend it all on Chris Olave. Which could be irresponsible since we have needs at other positions and we don't really even have a need at wide receiver. But he's Chris Olave. He's one of my favorite players to come out of Ohio State in recent memory. CO2. So smooth as a route runner. One of the cleanest route runners I've ever seen play. I think we got to give this man an extension. Or not extension, a contract. And then we can figure out what to do with the receivers afterwards. But I think we have to give this man a contract. I know we have to overpay him because he really doesn't want to be in New England, which is understandable. But you got to see the vision, Chris. See the vision. Okay, so we're battling with Seattle. It's not a guarantee that we get him, but it's a good chance. Okay, now let's go readjust with the linebackers. So Quay Walker, I'm leaning heavily into. I think Quay Walker could be pretty fun. 5-year deal's a little bit too long, but I mean, we just did sign Olave to it, or offer him a 5-year deal, so maybe getting them on the same timeline wouldn't be that bad. Let's offer him that. It's a lot of bonus to give to Quay Walker, but he likes it. We're number 1 on his board and number 1 in his heart. What about Nick Bonito? I think Nick Bonito could be a cool backup. I did talk about how we need some depth, so Nick Bonito might be a solid depth piece, and nobody's really going after him. We don't have to pay him that much, so I like that. Defensive line, there's just nobody here. I mean, Draymond's cool. Another Buckeye. I don't think I want to go that route. Drake Jackson's got 84 speed, 90 excel. I didn't realize he was built like that. Drake Jackson might not be that bad of an offer, and he might be my only offer left because I kind of want to keep a little bit of money. So my available offers: Chris Olave, Quay Walker, Drake Jackson, Nick Bonito. We're going to evaluate those. Everybody but Olave has decided to sign a contract, and they signed with us. Bonito, Drake Jackson, and Quay Walker. So we add to the defensive line and the linebackers, getting both starter and depth. I like that. Olave, what's he choosing? It's either going to be us or Seattle. He chose us. Chris Olave is a New England Patriot. That's huge, and there it is right up above me. You can see it right above me. There was no other team I wanted to play for. Oh, that warms the heart. That warms the heart, Chris. I love to hear you say that. CO2 is here in New England. And you know what? I'm going to give him number 2 if I can. Not number 12. Get that number 12 out of here. CO2 is where you are. Can I give him number 2? Who's wearing number 2? Give him number 4 for now. Who's wearing number 2? Who's got it? Drake may not wear 2. He's wearing 10. Yeah. All right, well, we'll look at that later. But let's take a look at the defense now. Because we added in Quay Walker. We added in Nick Bonito. We added in Drake Jackson. I like it. I like it a lot. That's going to be all we do in free agency because we just simply don't have enough money to really go after anybody else. And I'd probably keep that $7 million. I guess it's $9 million now. I'd rather keep that. But let's go hunt down the number 2. Who's wearing the number 2 jersey? I honestly don't know. It is going to be given to number 2. Oh, God, we're getting pretty deep into the woods here. Who is it? Who's wearing number 2? Oh, it's a bum, isn't it? It's Juan Burks, the 3rd-string quarterback On the practice squad, I think, he's wearing you're wearing CO2's jersey. That's just disrespectful. For that, you're wearing number 95. That's what you're going to get. Chris Olave, your number has been restored. CO2, baby. Perfect. Beautiful. Mwah, chef's kiss. All right. So we got that out of the way. We've got a good team. We just need to figure out the playbooks now. Let's get to the draft portion of things. We can figure out what we want to do. And then we really need to tinker with the playbooks. We really need to find a playbook that suits the receivers that we have and the running back that we have in Ramondre, and then puts Drake May in the best position possible. We need to take into account everything that we're good with. So Anthony Bryan is not worth trading up for. He is a round 1 talent. Oh man, this draft might be buns. Maybe we got lucky and we got bailed out by a bad draft and not having our first round pick. John Middlebrooks is a true top 5 talent. Ooh. I need to take a look at the mock draft. I need to see where he's going to go. Because he's projected round 1 to 2, so there's a slight chance he makes it to round 2, but probably not too far into round number 2, unfortunately. Are there any freak running backs? There never really is there? George Waters is an elusive back with good speed, 4.45 speed. He doesn't look bad. He looks okay. We don't need a receiver, especially now that we added in big dog Olave. We could use a tight end. 6'2" at tight end is not great. John Ross. That's also not a very good name for an NFL player. Lawrence Silvers, 6'4". Ooh, Lawrence. Lawrence could be my guy. I'm definitely putting one on him. But then you've got this guy, Greg Kane, down here. 6'4" as well. Not as fast, but could be pretty solid. And it looks like those are the only 2 even viable options. Philip Herbert? Okay. Those 2 probably are the only viable options at tight end. And I probably should just put my private workouts on both of them. But I think I need to send it on... Oh, there's been a center that's been added. There was only one guy at the top. Now, it was Jack Hurley, but now there's another guy here. Okay. Somebody has grown in development, it looks like. Dexter Woodward is a round 1 talent. That's good to know. That's very good to know. All the defensive linemen, I really hope that this John Middlebrooks guy falls out of the first round. That'd be really awesome because he looks pretty phenomenal, at least in comparison to every other defensive lineman that we have taken a look at. Defensive tackle. I think I need to put one on somebody here. So let's go with Marcus Meeks, and then we'll go on those 2 tight ends. Lawrence Silvers and Greg Kane. Confirm. Boom. Those are my private workouts. Next step is to find out about the mock draft because we need to know if that Middlebrooks dude is going to go in the first round or not. So let's look at it. What do we got? Mock draft number 5. Show me what I want to see. Middlebrooks. No! 17 by the Bengals. Okay, so if we absolutely want him, then we have to trade to number 17, which I don't think is going to be very easy to do. Especially without a first-round pick. If we had a first-round pick, it'd be very simple. But without our first-round pick this year, it's going to be a little bit more tricky. And without the trade of Juwan Bentley now, because we don't have him that we can throw in the deal. I do want to make sure that I have everything here bought, so we will get that bought. Everything else here has been purchased. I also go over here and get this hometown discount thing, so all of our guys are discounted when we re-sign them. Those are really the 2 main things you need to get when you upgrade your trees, your personnel trees. Okay. Is there any single way that we can get the Bengals pick? Number 17 in the draft. They want 2 first-round picks and a 4th. And that's the only thing they'll take. I don't want to do that. He's still wearing number 95. That's funny. Okay, so they need draft picks. But now we have kind of a backload of wide receivers with the addition of Chris Olave. So what we should probably do is move one of them. And the guy that makes the most sense is Javon Baker because he always gets left out of the stats. So if we toss Javon Baker into a trade, he's still young. He's still got team control. What about if I also toss in Kayshon Boutte? Okay, that's not moving the needle. They're not really that interested in that. They need a center. I have David Andrews, who's old. That doesn't really do much. And that takes away all of my trading of players options. Oh, I have Judon. Maybe we just send Judon away. Let's take out Boutte and send Judon over to the Cincinnati Bengals. What's that say? Oh, they're out of cap space. Darn you, Cincinnati. So they can't take Judon even if it was just a straight up trade. So what about number 16? Who's got number 16 in the draft? Buffalo has 15. Number 16 is in possession for the... Who's got number 16? Oh, it was right there. The Broncos do, because that's our pick at 11. So number 16 is held by the Denver Broncos. Do they want Javon Baker? I don't know. Do you want Judon? You probably do want Judon. Oh, they don't. They don't want Judon. Okay. What about David Andrews? Okay. I'm doing all this. I don't even know if Millbrooks is worth it. He's a top 5 pick, but how good is that in comparison to the rest of the class? Like, the class could be a bunch of buns. Could be cheeks. Could be booty cheeks. I think I'm just going to trade Judon. Not for a first-round pick, but I think I'm just going to trade Judon. He's not giving me that much to work with here. A couple of running backs. But we have Ramondre. Do I really think I can get anything for Judon? Does anybody even want Judon? There's a couple teams with yellow interest, but is anybody with green? Let's at least toss him to a team that slightly cares about him. Like the 49ers. They at least a little bit care about him. What do they have that I want? I mean, they got a lot that I want, but what do they have that I can reasonably get? They have no center on their entire team. That's kind of a problem. You got Anthony Davis? You got the unibrow on your team? Hold on. You got the unibrow on your team and you're hiding him from me? Maybe we could grab him. He doesn't look too bad, actually. Do they have a corner that's good? They've got this guy, Renardo Green. They've got some cheeks, actually. They don't got anything that I really want. Except for that Anthony Davis guy. What about the Raiders? The Raiders. I mean, they got Max Crosby. How about that? Straight up, 1 for 1. It's the same player. Okay, maybe not. What else do they have? They got Sam Howell starting at quarterback. Oh, no. They're in some trouble. Trouble. Jackson Powers Johnson. They've got this dude, Carlos Watkins. Do they have anybody that's got star development that they drafted on the defensive line? No. There's that Eichenberg trade again. Maybe we come back to the Eichenberg trade. Maybe we go after Eichenberg and this right tackle Carlos Watkins. Maybe you do this. Oh, because they have no money. I hate cap room. I hate it. I hate the cap space in football. Just make it like baseball. No cap space. Do whatever you want. So the Cardinals have cap space. They have a lot of cap, and they're picking number 1 overall. They have a ton of cap space to be able to eat this contract. We just got to find the right trade in return. They've got a couple D tackles with development traits. You got Sharif Fleming. You've got... Oh, okay, it's only Sharif Fleming. I thought that they had more than that. You got Darius Robinson. I've seen Darius Robinson develop, which is giving me hope that I could do it myself. What about if I ask them... My man got neck tattoos? He does. That's pretty sick. What about if I ask them for Darius Robinson and for this Josh Greer guy? How about that? Is that good enough for you? It's very close. Okay. Well, I guess I can give a 4th round pick in 2028. That gets it close. What about a 6th round pick in 2028? That gets it close. What about... What else do I have that I can toss them that I don't really care about? Kennedy Brooks. Does he do it for you? Does he move the needle? He kind of moves the needle. And then I guess I can toss in like Booty or something. We have a lot of wide receivers. Oh, it's very close. It's so close. It's kind of annoying actually. So how about I toss you Tyquan Thornton? That's gonna go through. Oh, it did. Whoa, what? It didn't go through? I could have swore that was gonna go through. That's actually wild. Okay. Well, I guess I can give up a 5th round pick in 2027 because who needs 5th round picks? Am I right? All right. So Judon headed to Arizona along with a couple receivers and some draft picks. We get back 2 youngsters. I guess that's a good trade. I wasn't even really trying to trade Judon there. I just kind of ended up. That's kind of how it ended up playing out. I guess I'll take it. Judon was going to get worse anyway. And then the final trade that I would even consider is not Jalen Polk, Javon Baker. I don't really want to trade Javon Baker, and it looks like nobody wants him anyway, so I guess we'll keep him. Okay, good to know. Good to know that nobody really wants him. Let's get to the draft. We don't have our 1st round pick. We're not going to get that Middlebrooks guy. Can I skip? There we go. Thank you. All right, so we're just going to skip around and hope that something good happens. So next user pick. All right, we're into the 2nd round now. I'm assuming everybody good is gone. How are we looking here? So who's the best talent left in the draft? You've got, oh, it's right, the tight end. I forgot about him. Lawrence Silvers, vertical threat with elite speed. This is our tight end in the future. I just know it. I know he's our tight end in the future. How'd that other tight end turn out? Because we scouted him too. He's around 1 to 2, so he's not as good, but he still looks fairly good. I'd take both of them, honestly. But if we were going to go to here, where is that right guard at? Here he is, Dexter Woodward. This guy could be a really good player for us. If we take Dexter Woodward, I feel like we miss out on the tight end. We're not going to get both of them. There's no way that we can do this where we end up with both players. So I think we take the tight end. Lawrence Silvers is my guy. I just think that's the smarter option. He's a good pick. He's the number 19 player in the entire class. And he's got hidden development. 89 speed, 87 acceleration. That's a good pick. I like that. Now, the guard probably is pretty good as well. But we needed a tight end more than we needed a guard. That we could have turned into a center, I guess. Maybe he slipped through. He was round 2 to 3 projection. Maybe he's still here. He's not. I saw Woodward. I got excited, but he is not still here. But the tight end is. We probably could have got the guard and the tight end if I would have done that a little bit smarter. Okay, we're into round 3 now. I guess I could still take the tight end if I really wanted him. But show me some freaks. Freak on a leash. We got a couple elite speed guys left. There's 2 of them. And they're both tight ends actually, but not the ones that I was scouting. The guy that I was scouting is right here, Greg Kane. He's only got good speed. Matt Cheeks? Is this guy good at anything else? He's got the elite speed. John Fiore? We don't know much about him. It'd be better off just taking the tight end that we know all about. So let's take Greg Kane. 2 draft picks, 2 tight ends. That's a wild first 2 picks, but they both have hidden development, and maybe they're our next tight end duo. You know that a Patriot dynasty is not complete without a tight end duo, so hopefully one of those guys doesn't end up committing any crimes. All right, we go to the 6th round. Oh, that guy's good. Holy crap. Running back, pretty solid. All right, the next guy that we have that's even somewhat scouted are a bunch of wide receivers, but I'm assuming they're not that fast. If I go to physicals and we sort by speed, the guys that are left are all wide receivers, but they're all great. I mean, they're all great speed. Nothing too crazy. Jamarcus Glass. Who are you? You're pretty good physically, but you are kind of garbage everywhere else. I mean, we have defensive line, right? Defensive line should be somewhat scouted. So let's just go there and take somebody. Oh, they're all undrafted. Oh, okay. So they're all garbage. They're all absolute, utter garbage, and that's why they weren't showing up. Makes sense. Who's got the best man coverage at corner? Not many people. But this guy, okay, he's got some decent stats. We don't know much about him. He's potentially an undrafted guy, Cliff Van Buren. I'm going to grab him. He's probably complete garbage. He's ranked number 92. He's not that bad. And he's got hidden development. Look at the drafting god. Look at the drafting god. I mean, it's just that easy sometimes for me. It's just that easy. I just be doing these things. That's what I do. That's what I do. All right, so we took 2 tight ends and a corner. Kind of a wild draft, but that's what happens when you don't have a first-round pick. Darius Robinson gets an upgrade point. That's already a good start. Hasn't even been on the team 5 minutes. He gets an upgrade point. Look at that. How good did we do? And was this class kind of buns? Because that's the kind of vibe I was getting. So Silver's 75 overall. Kane's a 73. Van Buren's a 71. And they took 2 guys that are not good. That's okay. Best player in the class was Kendrick Wilson, wide receiver. Jared Langham was an 82 overall middle linebacker. Middlebrooks, 78 overall. Probably should have went and got him. But he went at 13. The mock draft said he was going to go at 17. So it's a good thing we didn't do that because we would have still missed out on him. Maybe we did miss it, or maybe we did get lucky because we still would have missed out on him even if I would have traded with the Bengals because he went way earlier than the mock draft said, or a little bit earlier than the mock draft said. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. But I think this team is going to be good. Now, the final piece of business is to discuss the playbooks. Where do we go with these playbooks? That's the biggest question. We got to use our assets. And you know what? I'm starting Silvers and I'm starting Kane. Might as well get them right out the gates. Okay, so offensive line's weird, but it's good. Wide receiver, we added in CO2. That'll help. Drake May's a stud. Don't have to worry about him. Defensively, we added in Quay Walker. Darius Robinson will start at defensive line. Corners are slightly weird. Linebackers are good. Duggar and Mapu are fine. Scheme fit, we're at 87%. Or maybe we're... Oh, yeah, okay. We are at 87%. So 75 for a West Coast power zone. That's probably the best option for us. 3-4 under is 87%. Is there anything else? 4-6. No, okay. We'll still run a 3-4 under. But what are the playbooks? What's going to be the playbooks? Not Baltimore. Not Washington. Seattle, no. Who's the coach of Seattle? McDonald? For some of these coaching changes happen so early in the actual calendar year that I forget who these people are. Maybe Houston, because they've got C.J. Stroud, they got Stephon Diggs, they've got a decent running back. We might try D'Amico Ryan's offense. Maybe we do that. And then defensively, I mean, we could just go Dallas or Pittsburgh or Baltimore. They run a multiple 3-4, which is what we're running right now. Well, not a multiple 3-4. We're running a 3-4 under. But they have at least a 3-4. That might make a little bit more sense. So we'll run Baltimore's defensive playbook and Houston's offense, and we'll see if that helps not C.J. Stroud, Drake May. I think that could work. That's going to be it for season number 2, episode number 2. I think we made some good improvements. I hope that next year is the year where we step it up because we have our first-round pick back. I didn't trade it, so we have our first-round pick back. So if we end up being bad, at least we don't have to try to work to get our pick back. But I think we are going to be pretty decent, hopefully at least. If you enjoyed the episode, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I truly appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.